guys, it's Johnny and welcome to episode 47 of the Travel Like a Boss podcast. Today I have a special guest, Marion Bouquet from voicethatfrenchy.com. How are you doing? Welcome.
Hi, Johnny.
So, okay, Marion's actually a special guest for a couple different reasons. And in this episode, we're going to make a new announcement, actually, that you guys can be excited about. It's I won't say what it is yet, but life does change pretty quickly. And we're also going to talk about how to make money while traveling, even though you're just getting started. And we're going to kind of talk about Marion's story about how she started with blogging and with Fiverr, and now that she's moved on to bigger and better things. And if you guys recognize her voice, it's because Marion from voicethatfrenchy.com is actually the voice of the intro. So hi, welcome.
Hi again, Joni. How are you doing?
Yeah. So let's tell a story about how we met.
Oh, that's a good question. I actually forgot. Oh, yes, I do remember. We met at a party, which was at Monkey Club, and it was last year.
Okay. And so that's here in Chiang Mai in Thailand.
Yeah.
And you traveled a bit. You went back to France for a while?
Yes, I went back to France in March, and I just came back.
Okay. So I haven't really seen you in a few months. It's been a while, but we've known each other now for exactly a year, a little bit over a year. Mm-hmm. And life has changed a lot.
Yes, pretty quickly.
So when you were starting out, when I first met you here, you were, what was your story? Like, what made you move to Chiang Mai?
So first I knew that place just from traveling at first, and I was not working online at that time. And it was in 2012, and I remember I came back after a first trip to spend the summer and figure out what I wanted to do with my life, especially professional life. And I met my ex-boyfriend at that time, who was into computer programming, and kind of rang a bell. I was like, wow, this world exists, and I had no idea. You can work online and travel at the same time. So I started to think what I could do to do this. And first started with translation from English to French. And I quickly got the opportunity to use my voice to record something that I translated.
So how did you find those translation gigs?
I found them on oDesk. I actually heard from someone here in Chiang Mai that I could sign up there, and there would be like a lot of translation gigs. So that's how I found my first job. Okay,
so for the first one, was it that you listened to a French audio and then translate to English, or what?
No, it was just a script, English text that I would have to translate in French.
Okay, yeah. And then they asked you, say, hey, you're French. Would you like to read this? And record it, or?
Yeah. I don't exactly remember what it was, but this client wanted me to record it, and I actually used my crappy phone at that time, I think, or MP3. And even though the sound wasn't great, I remember the client said that he loved my voice, and I had a special voice, and I should maybe do something with it. And at the same time, I figured out that I had a lot of fun doing that, so why not trying?
That's cool. So that's what kind of brought you into the voiceover
world. Exactly.
I actually watched a movie about that recently.
In Her World?
In Her World.
Yeah. That's a great movie.
Yeah. In the world where dinosaurs roam. So when I first met you, you had basically just gotten started in the voiceovers, and I remember I told you, hey, I'm just starting a podcast, yeah. And I actually need an intro.
Yeah.
And it was perfect timing because you needed someone to do a demo, and I needed someone to make an intro. So that worked out, and now 47 episodes later, it's still the intro because it's great.
Thanks. Yeah, that was great.
So when you first started out, and it was hard to find clients, because now if someone wants to hire you, you charge a lot more, but you're a lot more professional. You have a better setup and better mic and everything. But when you were first starting out, you started on Fiverr, right?
Actually, no, I started on oDesk and eLance.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is where I got my first jobs. But then I actually don't remember if that was you or someone else, but I heard of Fiverr. But since it's like the $5 gigs, I was not really attracted to this idea. But actually, this was a great idea, and it was not really about making more money thanks to Fiverr, but building my portfolio. And thanks to all the gigs I got, I've been able to create my demo and then that I would use for my website and all those things. So
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people mentioned Fiverr, but I do remember saying to you that even if you're just doing it to build up your demo reel, then it's still good. And you can get some clients, that are going to want bigger gigs, repeat clients from that.
I got a lot actually.
Okay, so how does Fiverr work? So you as I would say talent, how does it work on your side?
Well, you mean like what I charge or how it works?
Yeah, because like I've hired a lot of people through Fiverr. I've used people to make to do Photoshop skills or to do little gigs here and there. So I know as a customer, it's really easy to go on browse or something and buy a Fiverr gig. But as whatever the other side is.
Beginner, I don't know.
Oh yeah, how would you get started actually getting paid to do Fiverr gigs?
So I think the lucky side for me is that I was a French voiceover. So there was only like 2 other French male voiceovers there, and only maybe 2 French girls, but they were not really active. So I got to get a lot of gigs pretty quickly, even though I had to start at $5 for like 150 words, for example. That's how I started. But then, thanks to all the feedback, and then you reach some levels, I've been able to increase
your rate on there.
Increase my rate, yeah.
Okay, so for a lot of people who have never used Fiverr, the way it works is you can find gigs with people will do things for $5, and it could be some editing. They'll make you a funny sign. They'll hold a funny sign in front of a tiger for you, or things like that. And you might ask, it's only $5. Why would I do this? And especially because you don't actually get paid $5.
Yeah, right.
You get, after the fees, you get how much?
$4.
25%
they get.
Yeah. So a lot of people are like, well, I'm not going to do work for $4. But I think especially while starting out, it's actually not bad, because if you think about it, if you batch them together, I mean, you can probably do a couple different gigs an hour, right? Like how many can you do in an hour, you think?
Usually it's a lot, especially now because I tend to do them at the same time. But let's say, like, for me, it's easier to give you an average of maybe I do like 6 to 10 gigs a week.
Okay.
Or something like that.
And would you do that all in one day or over the course of a few days?
It depends, because I usually deliver my files within 4 days, but sometimes you have people that buy the 24-hour,
fast turnaround.
Okay. So it only depends, but usually, I do it like just once or twice a week.
Okay. So when you batch it together, especially if you get enough orders, a lot of times you can be making $20 or $30 an hour even, just because you can fulfill 4 or 5 an hour. And I think that's how a lot of people make money from it.
And even more.
And more, yeah, definitely.
Because it's not $5. Usually the average of my orders now are around $20.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's because people are doing upgrades and add-ons. Like for you specifically, they want more words. Or they want like a music track or something in the background?
Yes. Okay. So I offer like $5 per 30 words. Obviously, if it's like a big script, I decrease my rate. That makes sense. And then I have like you can add music in the background. I can it's loud here. I can synchronize the audio to the video if they have one, and can also sometimes do a bit of translation.
Okay, and so people don't have to have voiceover skills to go on Fiverr. They can basically do any skill. And if you want an idea of it, just browse around and you'll see the most ridiculous things on there. But I do think that the voiceover is pretty cool, especially if you have another language skill. So you happen to be French and you speak English, and that was a great market. A lot of people they want people that speak English with a French accent. I know for me, for the intro, I was like, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And so that felt perfectly. But if someone's just a native English speaker, they could still do it.
But there's like a lot more competition, obviously.
So they have to find their niche or be better.
Exactly.
So I do like that. So you moved on from Fiverr, and now you're doing kind of I remember in the beginning it was hard being out here in Chiang Mai, just starting out, not having income. And I remember you being on a very strict budget. How much has that changed?
I can live comfortably now, and I've been able, for example, to live in France this summer and pay a rent. So I would say that in 6 months I tripled my revenue.
Wow, that's cool. And now this is your own company. Like you're your own boss.
I'm my own boss, Johnny.
Congratulations.
Just like you.
That's actually the whole reason why I wanted to have you on the show is not just to talk to you about Fiverr or the voiceovers, because that's interesting as well, but the fact that people can really find anything to do online and make it work. Do you have a lot of friends back home that when you saw them and they ask you what you do now, that they're envious?
They're what, sorry?
Are they envious at all, or do they?
They're kind of envious, but they're not ready to, take the leap.
What do you think stops them from quitting their job and doing this?
Just, feeling security and having a safe job. And I just guess that the difference for me is that, as you said, I speak English, so I'm able to have a lot more opportunities. It's easier for me to meet people that could inspire me than just being a French person that doesn't speak English. So they have no idea of that world.
So anyone who is listening to this podcast that can understand English, you have no excuses. If you hate your job, quit it, move out here, live super cheap in the beginning. Like when you first came out and you were on a budget, how cheaply were you able to live?
I would live it with 400 euros a month.
Okay. That's about $600, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was fine. It was like you still enjoyed life.
Yes. But I mean, for me, it's real. I guess you heard that often, especially like with the lifestyle we have. But for me, it's not about making, a lot of money. It's about creating that lifestyle that I like and that allows me to live the life that I want and just living comfortably with the amount of money that I need. And it's been great to be able to come back to Chiang Mai to start that. I mean, I started in France, but I had to work another job because I couldn't afford living in France just with the voiceover thing, especially starting. But now, when I came back here, I had a lot more time to focus on that, a lot more of energy, and I was around people that were doing the same thing. So it was just the perfect setting.
So when you went back to France this summer, did you get a second job?
Not at all.
I didn't. Wow. So you were able to support living in France. It's an expensive country just on your voiceover jobs.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I'm very proud of you.
And especially having a lot of time for myself and doing the things that I wanted to do there was great.
So a big announcement for everyone. Actually, one of many announcements, but my girlfriend Larissa finally quit her job. I've been planting the seed in her head for months.
That is awesome.
And no one on her Facebook even knows, so, because I think she's because she has a lot of her coworkers don't know. She basically just decided, she's like, you know what? I can either keep working, 8 hours a day for someone else with all this BS and, not being happy and being stressed out, or I can, take the chance and do my own thing. And what was nice is we figured out a way where we can transition a little bit easier. So instead of her just starting off straight with her own business, I said, look, to make it easier, why don't you just find a part-time job? So instead of teaching full-time, why don't you teach, or tutor a few hours a day and just making enough to cover your basic expenses. You don't have to worry about it. Mm-hmm. And then for the rest of the day, the other, 4 hours, you can work on your own projects. And she thought it was a great idea because she's very independent. She doesn't want me to, she never lets me pay for anything, which is most guys would love. But for me, I actually, honestly, I was just like, you know what, let me just pay for you for a month or two. It would just make my life easier because then you'd be less stressed. But, she's so independent. She's like, no, I want to work. And then I was like, you know what, instead of getting another part-time teaching job, why don't you just work for me and help me with one of my drop shipping stores? And it worked out perfectly because I've been wanting to hire somebody to do very simple things. Like, for example, I wanted somebody to go and contact everyone who's ever bought anything from my stores and just to follow up and just say, hey, how do you still like this product? Thank you so much for shopping. Here's a coupon code that gives you free shipping and a little discount. Feel free to share this with your friends and family. So she's been doing that for the last 2 days. And so far, it's been great. Customers email back saying, hey, thank you. You guys had the best customer service. I'm definitely going to buy something again. Or I'm going to give this coupon to one of my friends. And so it's one of those things where now she works for me in the morning. So from 8 to noon, she helps me with my dropshipping stores while she gets to learn the back end of it. So that way she can open her own in the future. And then in the afternoon, she has 4 hours or however long she wants to work on her own projects. So that way, it's like a nice little buffer.
That's awesome. congrats, Larissa.
Thank you. Yeah, congratulations, Larissa. And my goal is I'm definitely going to have her on the show once she starts crushing it as well. Share her story. So we saw each other again just a few days ago, and things have changed a lot since then.
Yeah.
What has changed?
What has changed? Well, I don't know, so many things. The lifestyle is still the same, but it's internal. Like I felt like within me I had changed a lot, and I felt more like I'm myself 100%, feel accomplished. And I feel also, I noticed that more available to the world, and I like saying that because since I'm doing what I love, and I have more time to do all those other things, I also have more time for my friends, for my family, for anyone around me that might need help or anything. You know, I feel like I'm in a place in my head and in my heart where I can, you know, be around people and share my stories or just, you know, listen. And I felt that change, really, like less stress in my life, less questioning, be able to live more in the moment thanks to all this. So
I can see that as well. I could see the confidence and the happiness that comes from you. And even like, for example, for today, I messaged Marion on Facebook and said, hey, let's do the podcast. You know, do you want me to come to you, or do you want to come out to Punch Base? And I think a year ago there might have been 5 other questions, like how do I get there? Is it going to be logistical questions, or I don't know if I have time, I have work, things like that. But now you're like, okay, I'll be there. And if anything, you actually messaged me saying, hey, I got done with work early. do you want to do this earlier?
Yeah. Well, honestly, last year, a year back, I was starting. So, it's better to have a story to tell than, just like if it had been a year ago, maybe it wouldn't have been that interesting.
But it's only 1 year if you think about it. If you think about your friends back home when you went back to visit, how much when you ask them, oh, what have you been up to? How much has actually changed for most people?
We know the answer.
and it's, to me, it's so sad. Like every time I go back to the US and I see my friends and I'm like, oh, what have you been up to? And they're like, oh yeah, I went to Sutra.
Disneyland.
No, they didn't even say that. They said like they went to Sutra last weekend. And I'm like, what is that? I was like, oh. And then I thought about it. I was like, wait, is Sutra that bar or that nightclub that we used to go to every single weekend when we were in college? And they're like, yeah, the one in Newport Beach. And I'm like, man, it's been 5 years and you still go there? And I like it almost, I try not to say anything, but to me, I'm like, man, that was 5 years ago that we used to go. And it was cool because we were in college or right after college. And it was like the new club to go to be seen and, to go drink. And it's been 5 years and I haven't seen you in over a year, and I ask you, what have you been up to? And that is the best answer you can give me. And to me, it just breaks my heart because, the people that we know now, we ask them, what have you been up to since the last 3 months? And they say to me, oh, yeah, I just got back from Bali. We did a yoga retreat. I started a podcast, or we created this course. I mean, life out here really seems like it changes quickly or quicker. Why do you think that is?
I don't know, but I just want to say something about what you just said, because I don't necessarily agree, but because I have friends back home that haven't done that many things in a year compared to what I did. That's short. But the thing is, for me, this is not the important thing. For me, it's like, when I talk to them, are they happy with their life? Are they doing something that they love? Even if it means that they're staying in the same place for a year and they're still going to the same bar, it doesn't make a difference to me. It's more about the way they express themselves, what they convey when they speak, if they're happy with their life, if they're happy with the people around them, But obviously, there's a lot more chance that you get to hear people complaining because it's just not that easy to, have this life sometimes. But I've seen a few friends that are still doing the same thing, and they love their job. They love their life and family, being in the same place, So this is why I don't necessarily agree there, but I see what you mean.
Well, what's funny is, like, if I look on my Facebook wall, most of my friends, they complain about the job that they hate, and they love complaining about it. Okay. And then once they do, every time they put up something that they, a complaint, everybody likes it, everyone comments. They're like, oh yeah, me too. I know how you feel. And I told Larissa, I was like, what you should do is you should complain about your new job. And but to kind of do it in a cheeky way where, so like instead of saying, oh, I love my new job, like the commute is so much shorter, just complain. Say, oh, I hate my new job. Like it's such a far walk. It's, it's almost 200 meters. Actually, it's not even that far. From here to Pun Space, it was
less than 200 meters.
And then I should say, like the next day you can complain like, oh, I hate my job. My boss never lets me make the coffee. He insists on making it himself. Or the other thing that I make her do is I put a timer on her computer and I said, you have to take a break every 30 minutes. And at first she hated it. She was like, no, I want to keep, working on, and I said, no, you have to take a break every half an hour.
Okay.
So she should complain about that, saying like, my boss makes me take too many breaks.
That's a good idea.
Or
let's change the way of thinking.
Yeah. And I think that if she did put that on her Facebook, a lot of people actually would just, kind of go along with it. Like, yeah, I hate commutes too. Or I know what you mean. I hate this. Because I think people like to just feel like everyone else is kind of in the same boat with them, whether it's good or not. And the other people are going to, kind of read between the lines and realize she's being ironic and they're going to hate her. But what I'm really excited about is being able to free up my time so I can work on other projects and have her. So she's actually my second official employee. I have one in the US that she answers all my calls. So, but I only have her because of the time difference. So I pay her $180 a month, which isn't that much, but we don't get that many calls. Maybe we get like 2 or 3 calls a day. And I found her on oDesk. And basically she has other gigs. So she does like writing or editing, things like that. And I just say, hey, when the 2 people call a day, can you just pick up the phone and try to help them? And if you can't help them, just send me an email. So realistically, they're getting paid, $20 an hour, $30 an hour because they're only on the phone for 5 minutes. But for me, it's perfect because it frees up my time.
Yeah, you don't have to think about it.
Exactly. And, and once in a while, there's, an important issue. And, the thing is, if someone buys something from my online store and no one returns a call for 24 hours and it's a voicemail, people hate that. People want to be able to pick up the phone and have it be a live person. And what's really nice is there's no, press 1 for sales, press 2 for returns. It's just someone picks up the phone, it's like, hi, thank you for calling. How can I help you? And people love that. It's great service. And if it's anything small, she just takes care of it. If not, I take care of it when I get the email. But what's nice is now Larissa's there too, and she's my second, part-time employee, and she's helping with all the other customer service stuff and bringing in new sales. So now I can just basically do whatever else I want.
Don't spread the ID too much though, because the voicemail greeting, I do a lot of voiceover
for
that.
I think for the voicemail greetings, I think here's who it works for and here's who it doesn't work for. I think if you want to give your company a perception that you're a big company, that you're a very big professional company, that's when it comes into play. For if you want to give the perception that you're a small business, that you guys are just focused on, you guys are like a family shop, and if you come order with us, it's kind of like ordering through like your neighborhood store, where we give you very personalized service. Then people are like, just someone pick up the phone. But I think there's always going to be a market for the kind of the big professional, press 1 for John. If you'd like to speak to the CEO, John, Johnny FD extension 3362. Then I think there'll always be a market for that as well. But so one thing I want to announce, I'm really excited about, is I kind of hinted at it before, but I finally got the time to write my second book.
That's great. Congrats.
So, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
De rien.
So I'll be sending you a copy, Marion, and you'll be one of the first people to see it.
Woohoo! I'm excited.
And basically the only reason why I even had time to write it was because I have so much free time now that I have people like Larissa and people like Teresa back in the US to help me with my business. And people have asked, they're like, well, when are you going to write another book? And I actually always told them, I said, I'm not going to, because it's actually a really crappy way to make money. So if anyone's looked at my blog, johnnyfd.com, there's income reports, and you'll see that I make about $100 to $200 a month for my book, which actually is, I think if you asked me this 2 years ago when I was, pretty broke and I was just doing Muay Thai or scuba diving, I would have really liked that income. I would have been like, that is awesome. I'm making almost $200 a month. And my apartment, my rent is only $110 a month because I'm living in the cheapest place in Thailand. And I would have been like, that gives me $70 to eat. I'm happy. I can eat 30 baht Thai food every day. And that's actually my mentality. I mean, if you guys read my first book, 12 Weeks in Thailand, the entire book was dedicated to the good life on the cheap and living for $600 a month or less. And it's crazy that a year and a half later, I'm sitting here with the second book published, and the book is the complete opposite. I actually wanted to include cost of living and things like that in this book, because a lot of people ask still. They're like, oh, like how much do you spend on food now, or how much is your accommodation? So the place that we're sitting in right now is my apartment, right behind Pun Space, and it's 6,500 baht, which is about $200 a month. And that's very cheap. And my girlfriend lives next door, so we both have studios. So we treat this one as like the TV room. So we have the couch and the table set up.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah, that's where the bed's pushed in the corner. And then we have a little outdoor kitchen out there. Okay. And then we sleep in her room. So to me, it's kind of like having the convenience of having a 2-bedroom place. And, I have my closet here, and then she has hers there.
You still have your own space, and that's important.
Yeah, I like it. But we are actually looking into moving in together, but we just didn't want to start the process right when she started working for me as well, because I think it'll be too much.
24-hour together.
Yeah. So, and, not even just that, like just having a shop for, let's say, because we were going to move into an unfurnished apartment. And for those who want an idea of how much value you can get for your money out here, the place where Dan O'Donnell lives, the guy that you just met right outside Pun Space, and Ben Finnegan, the other guy, both of them have been on this podcast as well. They both moved into a building that is about 20 minutes away from the central city or Neiman area, which is kind of the cool, trendy area. And they live near Coffee Monster, which is the other co-working space. And it's also kind of in the suburbs, so it's kind of closer to the jungle area. And it's quiet, it's nature, it's really nice out there. And it's this older Thai building, but it has a lot of rooms, and it has a swimming pool. And downstairs it has a massage place, a barber shop, a restaurant, a coffee shop, so everything you need. It's almost kind of like living in a older Thai jungle resort. And they have a 1-bedroom apartment, so it's a big bedroom and then a big living room with a huge patio that is probably, I think their patio is about the size of this room. And they pay, I think, $9,000 or $10,000 a month. So it's less than $300 US a month for this giant place.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah. So I think, but for a lot of people listening back home, they're like, man, I can't believe how cheap that is. Because, like for me, I don't mind living in studios because it's convenient. I eat out every meal anyways, and I have a small kitchen, so I make like bacon and eggs here. But let's say I wanted to make French food. If I wanted to bake something, you can't do that here. You'd have to have a nice kitchen. So me and Larissa have, thought, hey, maybe we should move out there because it's first, it's a nice place. And with the amount of money that we're going to save, we can just use that money to buy furniture. And because even if we just leave the furniture, we don't even bother selling it, within 6 months, it pays for itself. So that's something kind of on the radar. And our friends Mark and March,
I know
them. So they did that. So they used to stay in a really nice furnished apartment that was about 3,000 baht a month, which is a lot for Thailand, which is 1,000 US. And for those who are listening back in France or back in the States, 1,000 a month isn't bad. That's actually like a pretty standard, price for like a kind of a small place. But theirs for Thailand was really expensive because you can get places for half of that are just as nice. And I think that the reason why they paid so much is they booked the place online before they came. So this is a tip to everyone who's thinking about moving out to Thailand, who hasn't read 12 Weeks in Thailand yet. Make sure you just book a hotel for a few nights and then book the place that you want to stay once you actually get here. Because I guarantee you end up spending less money and you'll find a lot more options.
And you got so many places to choose from, and you can just like go apartment hunting the whole day with a scooter and easy.
And it's fun. You kind of just walk around. Like there's 2 places that we've been looking at around here. That because Neiman is my favorite area. It's kind of like the lower east side, I guess, of the of New York, or like West, like more like West Village of New York, or like the South of Market area in San Francisco. Kind of like where all the coffee shops are, restaurants. And we actually tried counting it the other day. I think there are 50 coffee shops within 1 square kilometer in Neiman,
Wow, yeah.
which is insane. And one of our goals is we want to eat at every single restaurant here. And we tried a different restaurant every day, and we've been here for 6 months, and we still haven't finished.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very cool place to live. But I would say
Life happens outside here. That's why.
Yeah. So I would recommend to people, if you want to look around online, you can, but don't commit to anything till you get here, because I guarantee you all the great places they either have no website at all, or they have a crappy website that doesn't even say that they have a monthly fee. So, but there's one place that if you guys want to look, it's called the Prestige, and that's near. It's maybe 5 or 10 minutes away from Pun Space and this area, but still a good location. It's actually kind of near the Marion Mall, and they built these brand new 2-story loft apartments. They're 1 bedrooms upstairs, and they are beautiful. I mean, they look like something out of some kind of modern design magazine. And downstairs, this huge room with kitchen, a washer, like washing machine, a nice balcony, great design furniture, and the price is $18,000 a month, which is about $600 US. So, and that place, I looked at the website, and they nowhere on the website does it mention that they rent it out. So, like, these are kind of just examples of the things that you can get while living out here, especially if you start making a little bit more money. And that's kind of the next thing I want to talk about is, I think it's really nice to live out here on a budget and have Chiang Mai as a way to kind of what we call bootstrapping, where you could start out and not worry about how much money you're spending every month. But for me, I really feel like in the beginning I enjoyed that. I enjoyed kind of living on the smallest budget I could, and I still liked it. I still like eating 30 baht Thai food. I still enjoy getting cheap massages or doing the free stuff around here. But you have to admit that once you started making more money and you're not as worried about your income, the world really opens up here.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen you had some nice weekend getaways, huh?
Yeah.
And nice places.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think you've experienced that as well now too, where instead of only saying like, okay, I'm on a budget, I have to eat at the cheapest place. Now you've been enjoying like much nicer restaurants.
Yeah, I've been allowing myself to do more nice stuff for sure. Yeah, and like I said, I make more money, but I also have more time, because a year ago when I was here, I would work a lot. And so, I mean, this was part of the adventure, right? You can't like just, make so much money like instantly and just enjoy all these things around. You have to work hard for that. We all know that.
Well, I used to not like to work hard at all.
Okay.
That was my, I actually talk about this in the book, but the reason why I never wanted to work hard is my dad worked hard his entire life. Mm-hmm. And growing up, I saw that. I saw how hard he worked. Every day he would wake up at 5:30 in the morning and go to work and, basically slave away. He worked jobs like he worked, at a shipping office, and, he would manually go and move boxes, until 5 p.m. And then he would work overtime just so he could make a little bit more money. And sometimes, he'd be exhausted all the time. And he always said to me, he's like, son, you have to work hard. And I saw that, and I saw that there wasn't really any rewards for it. He just worked hard, but with almost no benefits to it. I mean, we were barely, we grew up barely getting by, and he was never happy. He was never around, and I'm like, I don't want that. Mm-hmm. So I did the exact opposite. I said, well, what is the opposite of working hard? And me, work smart. And in the beginning, it sounded logical. That's how what I told myself. I said, I'm only going to do, the shortcuts because it's, life is easier this way.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically shortcutted my way through school, shortcutted my way through work, and I never worked hard at all. And I got by, and like that entire first book was about, how to basically, just quit your job, and live, super cheap and not spend any money and just make enough money to get by. Mm. And that I don't regret doing it because I had a lot of good experiences. I got to kind of see a lot of the world and do Muay Thai, scuba dive, and basically just backpack around and be on the budget. But then about a year ago, exactly a year ago, I turned 32, and that's when I realized I was like, you know what, I'm getting too old for this. I need to build something. I need to actually, have a real income. I need to make enough money where if I needed to, I can do normal stuff. I can have a normal life back in the US, because just like you, like how you went back to France and you wanted to live a normal life for the summer, if you were only making $600 a month, there's no way you can do that.
No.
And you can do it in Chiang Mai, but then what that does is that closes all your opportunities. Where it basically, we almost build another prison around us where we think that's what we want, and it is great for about a year, but I can't can you imagine only having that option for the rest of your life?
No.
Right. So now I think, by us working hard for this last year, now we have choice. Now we have opportunity.
Choice, especially. True.
Like what kind of doors has that choice opened up for you?
Well, being able to decide where I want to live, that's one important thing, right? That's what we're looking for, having this lifestyle. So yeah, being able to go back to France, pay for my ticket, stay as long as I want it, and living there knowing that this didn't have to be permanent. This was not feeling like I was trapped or anything. So, and here I am again, and I know that I'm leaving in a few weeks, and I'm coming back. So yeah, specifically this.
Yeah, and now, do you have any other future plans? Anywhere else you want to travel to? Anywhere you want to see?
I'm leaving on the 26th to Nepal. I'm going back because I was there 2 years ago, but this time I'm taking time off to trek the Annapurna.
That's cool. So you're leaving in about 3 weeks. Yeah. And how long are you going to trek for?
2 weeks, and then
nice.
Spend three other weeks just enjoying my time painting and being with my friends, relaxing in Pokhara by a lake.
So you're going for 5 weeks.
Yeah, I may try to come back earlier actually because I don't think I can make it that long, off work. But 4 weeks for sure.
So what are you telling your customers? Because you're basically going to be in a mountain with no internet connection. Mm-hmm. What are you going to tell them while you're gone?
I already told them actually. I sent each one of them an email saying that I would be off. I sent it 3 weeks ago. So I would be off for that amount of time. And that if they needed anything done within this period, they would have to send it to me by September 15th or something. And actually, it was a good idea that I did that because thanks to that, I got a few answers from clients that wrote back to me with work to do. So yeah, this is great.
So there's actually a clever marketing strategy.
I'm learning a lot.
Yeah. So I think that's awesome because what that does is first, it gets people to buy more. So you did make some money right before the trip, which I'm sure would be nice to spend. But also it allows them to know hey, you can't give me anything last minute. I'm going to be gone for a month. And do you think that by pausing your business for this month, you're going to be able to come back and basically get started again? Or do you think it's going to have a big impact?
No, it's not going to have a big impact, and I know it because I have some ongoing clients for sure, but those ones know that I'm away, and I warned them, so they sent me the work that needed to be done, right? Other than that, is that I always got new clients, and even though I'm going to post my gigs on Fiverr, for example, or just be off eLance and oDesk, I'm pretty sure that when I come back, they will still have jobs.
Yeah, because you're still going to have the positive feedback on both eLance and Fiverr and oDesk.
And also, one important thing I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the interview is that since I'm French, I signed up on those, English-speaking websites. The market was pretty open for me, and I got lucky because 80 of my customers are actually English speakers, 80%. So only 20% of my customers are actually French. So this is why I know there will always be jobs for me out there.
That's a good feeling to know.
Yes, it's a good feeling. But still, I don't want to, just take this so easily. It's I know I still managed to build up clients and stay in a good relationship with them. Like checking in and make sure everything's okay, things like that. So yeah, we know this is important.
And at the end of the day, I mean, I'm sure they're happy with your work. So you do nice work. For those who are curious, what kind of microphone do you use?
I use a TLM 103. So this is like the second best mic on the market.
Very nice. Yeah. So for those who are curious, I use a cheaper mic, much cheaper, but I actually started using two mics. This took me forever to figure out on the Mac, but we basically have two USB mics plugged into my MacBook Air, and we use something, I don't remember the name now, but basically what it does is it makes it seem like there's one channel going into the Mac, and I'll what I'll do is I'll write something kind of quick on the show notes. So if you want to check that out, it's episode 47 of the Job Like Boss podcast, where I'll have a link to how to actually do it, because it took me literally a month to figure out how to get two mics to work. But hopefully the audio quality is better now that we're not sharing a mic, and it's also more comfortable.
Yeah, right.
Because now we're actually sitting across from each other instead of being right next to each other sharing one mic.
That's awesome. I like this.
Yeah, so it's a nice setup. I also have a list of all the podcasting equipment I use for those who are interested in starting out. Because to me, I mean, a year ago I had no idea what I was doing podcasting, and now we're 47 episodes in, which is insane. And I'm sure 2 years ago when you were just starting out with voiceovers, you've learned tons since then as well.
Tons of what, sorry?
Like you just learned so much about, now you're a super pro.
I would say, well, okay, super pro, a boss.
I'm actually curious, what are some of your clients like? What do they ask? Like, what kind of companies are they, and what they ask you to do?
Oh, okay, yeah. I was expecting you to ask this question actually, but so the specialties I cover mostly. Usually, I do a lot of video for like those videos for internet marketing, like business that are trying to sell a product or services. So you have a lot of those 3D or 2D, animated videos. You see that a lot on the internet. So I do a lot of these, and I do a lot of voicemail readings, French or bilingual, English and French, and do a lot of video for mobile applications, children's stories. Okay. So this is like the main thing.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of you guys listening, if you guys need a voiceover artist, you guys can check her out. So your website is
voicethatfrenchie.com.
Yep.
IE, not Y.
Well, it turns out I can't spell Frenchie, so I'll have a link to it as well. So that's really it. Right?
And I also have a Facebook page, same thing. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can find our facebook.com/voicethatfrenchie, and I'll have a link to that as well. Yeah. And I'm very excited that the new book, Life Changes Quick, is now available. So go to lifechangesquick.com, and it's going to be on Amazon soon. It's going to be a paperback soon, or you can download the PDF. And right now, I'm actually going to lower the price by 20%, just so I can get it in the hands of everyone listening. And all I ask you guys to do is please spread the word, let everyone know, because this book is really about telling the story. I mean, because life has changed so quickly since the last year. I mean, since the last time when we really hung out, or last time I saw you, I was, I think at that time I had just started getting in shape, but right before that I was so overweight. All right. Actually, no, I was pretty fat when I met you, I think.
I wouldn't say you were pretty fat, but you definitely changed.
Thank you.
Now I can say it.
And I was single.
Yeah.
And now I'm basically moving in with my girlfriend.
Exciting,
And I'm really happy. We have a great relationship as well, so I'm very happy with that. And I think at that time I had started my e-commerce store already, so I was already doing okay business-wise, but I definitely wasn't doing as well as I'm now. And the best thing is now both of us have free time. So we both make enough money where we can basically do whatever we want out here, but we also have the freedom of time, which to me is priceless. And that's the only reason why I even had time to buy this book. I mean, to write this book. So buy this book.
Buy it.
Yep.
Did you hear that?
Buy it. And seriously, I really appreciate if you guys leave a review, because the only way that it's really going to take off is during the first month. If enough people leave nice reviews on Amazon, then it blows up and it really spreads the word. So if you guys like the show, I really, really appreciate you guys going on lifechangesquick.com or on Amazon and buying the book and leaving a nice 5-star review, because to me, that is the best thing you guys can do. Thank you guys, and thank you, Marion, for being on the show.
Thank you, Johnny.
Check out Johnny's new book, Life Changes Quick. Get a six-pack, get stupid rich, and fall in love. All by this time next year. Save 20% by ordering at lifechangesquick.com and make sure you leave a review on Amazon. Au revoir. Merci.